Welcome to another episode of Tuesday Talks. I am Iftikhar Ahmed, the host of Tuesday Talks and the editor of Abir both. In Tuesday Talks, we delve into art, bringing together experts, enthusiasts, artists, curators, educators, and individuals deeply engaged in art and culture in any capacity. Today, I am thrilled to have Sachin Kaluskar from Baroda. Sachin is an art promoter
Hello.
and the founder of Infine Venture, which transforms scrap materials into captivating artworks, adorning public spaces nationwide and curating thematic exhibitions. The venture also embraces functionality by creating utility centric artworks from discarded materials, fostering creativity and environmental responsibility.
Yeah.
Let's welcome Sachin.
Thank you. Thank you,
Hello,
Iftikhar.
Sachin. How are
Yeah.
you?
I'm good, doing good. Thank you. And thank you for this opportunity to speak with you and the audience. I am excited.
So, Sachin, tell us about how did the idea of Infine Art Venture came about, and what inspired you to create artwork from scrap materials?
Infine Art Venture. So when I say Infine, that is India's fine art.
Okay.
That's the Infine. This idea came to my mind while I was reading few reports about global warming, about the kind of scrap that is being generated. And also I want to give credit to one person. His name is Dr. Vinod Rao. He was our municipal commissioner then. So he was like, we generate so much of scrap. What to do with that, and how do we deal with such scrap and all? So he was the person who actually made us. I mean, not me. Many artists thinking. He encouraged artists to join hands and to create some sculptures for Vadodara. So if you be in Vadodara, you will see some of the sculptures that are installed at some of the roundabouts, and also there is a sculpture park that has been created. Now my role in that was not much. I was just probably I would have contributed small little bit, but he introduced me with the railway department of Vadodara, where I met the DRM, and DRM gave me the sole responsibility. Instead of dealing with so many artists, he told me, Sachin, I want to deal with you. How about you curate the entire waste to art project? We saw this sculpture, we saw everything. When we saw their scrap, we selected some of them, and we actually named it as Art Station Rail Station. That was the theme. And see, if you get my master's degree is in journalism. I'm not an artist
Hmm.
by study, or whether you can say by training, but I understand, and or whatever I've learned, that is through my experience. So visual communication is my forte. I gave a proposal where I said, how about creating something at Vadodara railway station, where you entering into Vadodara, you get down off your train, and then you see something interesting which is talking about Vadodara. So you build an image about the city, when you enter, when you see something. So there were 6 large sculptures that we created, and some interesting furniture out of scrap metal. Vadodara railway station was visited by the general manager, and he gave 50,000 rupees as cash prize for this idea. So 50,000 does not have value, but the value is gesture. Nobody else has got such reward, and he got it. Vadodara station got it. That was our reward, and journey began. So we next project was at uh, Gwalior city, where we have created about 20 large sculptures for the city. And then we have been creating at various places in Surat, in Bangalore, and for even private companies. These companies, what they do, whatever scrap they are generating, they keep some of the scrap aside. They invite us. I look at the scrap, then come up with some designs befitting to their vision and mission. It's not just a random design or random idea which has got nothing to do with the company. But I believe if you are entering into company, you are an outsider and you don't know much about the company, or rather you want to know, about this company, but you should feel that connection. Even employees who are visiting it every day, they should feel the connection. So that is how we create some designs, and we have our studio in Vadodara where we create this
Okay.
sculpture. I will soon start some interesting artwork project for army also now.
Oh, wow.
Waiting for the work order to release.
All right. So, could you elaborate on the vision behind your venture and how it aligns with the concept of recycling and environmental responsibility?
Yeah, see, my burning desire is that I want to create artworks not just in Baroda or India, but at every places, I mean, entire world. I want to capture. That's what my burning desire is. That every global citizen should bump into art. If you visit any developed country, like I have been to in Europe, in UK, also in Singapore, and many other places where I have seen that governments, they encourage artists to come create something and display. Even there are art parks where there are sculpture parks where people specially go to see good quality artworks. So the idea is, the vision is, when we have started something like we have transformed Gwalior city into art city, where this city, where the sculptures, I'll share some of the pictures with you later on your WhatsApp. So each sculpture has a story behind it, which is associated with Gwalior. To give you an example, we have created a sculpture of Mrun Shilp. Mrun Shilp is traditional art form which is created using mitti, this and during Diwali. So these artists, these artisans who create this, they are called as prajapatis, who mostly create uh, मिट्टी के घड़े जो बोलते हैं मिट्टी के बर्तन. They mostly create
Yes.
that utensils which are made from mostly fired and this thing from clay fired materials. During Diwali, they create some of small artifacts which are used to keep in our during Diwali decoration. And end of the Diwali, they just discard it, not discard, विसर्जन कहते हैं. What is English word? I don't know. They just वो विसर्जित जो करते हैं, that's what they do. And next year again, people buy. Now this tradition is going now. People aren't looking at it buying. So I asked these guys that how many artworks do you sell and how much do you earn? They said not more than 5,000 rupees. That made me thinking that there are so many such we have so many tradition which are now dying on the verge of going. How about doing something interesting? So we roped in this guy, Prajapati, Harish Prajapati is his name. He taught us how to model, because he's master. We did modeling with his guidance, and we created a sculpture, a huge sculpture, the same thing but in scrap. Now, interestingly, Divya Bhaskar, rather it is called as Dainik Bhaskar, they did an article. They said that such kind of events or encouragements probably may help revive this art and may help earn more for these artisans. It was retweeted by our then Central Minister Pradyumna Singh Tomar. It was liked by Prime Minister. Imagine the power of
Oh,
art. One thing you are creating and Prime Minister liking that. So that is one example where also we have created a huge sarod for Gwalior city. Now, why sarod? Because Gwalior is inventor of modern day sarod. Ustad Amjad Ali Khan Sahab, who was a famous sarod player, his ancestor, they came to Gwalior. They stayed there, and they created from rubab. If you go to Afghanistan, you must have heard rubab. It's a
yes.
modified version of rubab. So we have created such some examples, some sculptures which talk about Gwalior city. So that is the idea behind it. That when we create artwork, now when you look at artwork, it gives sense of belongingness, it gives sense of connect, but also it makes you thinking that why are they looking little raw? Because they are made from scrap material, they are not made from fine finished material. So we and the new and fresh material, so normally you would find little difference between the fresh and scrap. So that would make you thinking, and ultimately probably your subconscious mind may want to use more and or recycle more and more. So the idea is to encourage people to use methods of recycling, and then just recycle, don't throw it away anywhere, just try and do as much as possible. And that is how we want to do. So this, and also media has helped us a lot with creating awareness. So I'm happy that people have started thinking at least about these things.
Sachin, yeah. So, how do you select public spaces for the installation of your artwork? What factors influence your decision?
Okay, so I do not select places. See, I'll tell you, when we propose an idea to the government or other government, when somebody like Gwalior City, they already had this idea in mind that they wanted to do something. So when we got
Okay.
the work order or tender, they showed us places. We went to see those places. We just went. We understood the stories. To give you one example, they told us that we are going to create some sculptures near Gwalior Zoo. Now, I found the stories around zoo. So normally what I do is whenever I visit, I ask some questions to that place, to that vicinity, and the place comes up with the answer. So basis on the answer that we get, we come up with the designs, and then we select material scrap, and accordingly we create the design. But yes, before creating this artwork, design has to be approved by the authorities, because they know their city better than us, obviously. They are the authorities, they have been staying there, and even some of the committee members, we always encourage that why don't you have a look at this, probably if there are some things which you want to make some changes or some suggestions, we are open to that. So that is how
Okay.
we do this. So even sometimes we do come up with some idea, like in Vadodara, my city, where I know the city in and out, where I have given some proposal to my authorities that how about creating something like this to the city, something like that. So yeah, I propose where I understand the place very well, or else I ask them to come up with the place.
Okay, so do you ever face such a situation where the vision is not in alignment? Like the authorities, they have a different plan, and which you think is not going with the aesthetics. So how do you deal with that?
Yeah, that comes. I mean, see, authorities from their point of view, they all what the only thing they want to avoid is controversy. If
Okay.
it is not controversial, then they are fine with that. But also they want to see the aesthetic sense, because they say that you are artist, you understand something different, you know your subject, but not everyone understand exactly. So if I create something which makes people think, if it is abstract in nature or something that people do not understand, probably they would want us to create something which people can easily understand. So when you look at a sculpture of a son chiraiya in Gwalior, you don't need to think twice. You just look at this, oh, it's a nice large bird that has been created out of scrap and it's beautiful, that's it. It doesn't make you think much. So when it comes to public art, as of now, I am focusing more from angle of people, because see, if this concept is new for India. If you want to succeed, if you want to create something, we'll have to create that is being accepted by my audience. I don't want to create something which I only like. I want to create which my audience likes it. So from their point of view, from the authorities point of view, many a times it has happened that authorities have not liked my designs. In that case, we have changed the designs also. We haven't got into any argument with them, because we know that the motive is not to stop me from doing something, but the motive is greater good. They are also thinking for their city, for their place. I'm also thinking the same, so we are in the same boat. The difference are definitely there. In that case, we modify some designs, we come up with entirely new design, and once they are satisfied, we create that.
Could you highlight a particular memorable collaboration that posed a unique challenge or opportunity?
Oh yeah. So last year in November, we invited 20 artists from different continents. They were here to transform a small town called Jajpur in Odisha. These artists, imagine, it's like story of five blind men who are asked to describe an elephant by touching it. So they are
Wow.
so if someone touches its trunk, what would he say? If someone touching its leg, what would he describe that? That elephant is like a rope, or elephant is like a pole. By touching the leg. The same story was with us, because while we invited these artists, I also had never been to Jajpur. I had visited this place twice or thrice, and then these artists came in. I did understand a little bit about the history and the place to offer. What is this place? But then when artists came, the bigger challenge started. Artists were because they were from different countries. From Africa, from Europe, from Americas, even so everyone had accustomed. Number one challenge was the atmosphere. Not everyone was comfortable with the atmosphere then. It was hot and humid even in the month of November. Secondly, the tools and materials which we thought that we use here and we are comfortable, they some of them weren't. So we had to look for materials. We had to look for the tools which were suitable to them. And imagine you and I, we are sitting in a different country. I'm sitting in a different country. I'm showing you something. You say, okay, fine. I think I can work with that. But when you actually start working, you feel difficulty. So that was the biggest challenge for us. But ultimately, we could overcome, and we have created some good work over there. So this was a challenge, yes, and a very unique and different challenge. And another challenge I would like to highlight here is we have created world's biggest Om sculpture at Kedarnath. Now
Okay.
imagine the altitude. It's 3,500 meters high, and the sculpture is of about 6,000 kilo in weight and made of pure brass. The biggest challenge was how to carry 6,000 kilo sculpture that to 15 foot tall and 16 foot wide, because you Kedarnath there is no motorable road. All you need to do is you reach out to Sonprayag, and from Sonprayag you walk or you trek of almost 19 kilometers, 16 to 19 kilometers near to reach out to temple, and it's very difficult trek. There are helicopters, yes, but then your sculpture cannot be carried into helicopters. So what did we do? We hired about 200 people who took almost a month to. So my entire sculpture was made in Vadodara at my studio in 17 parts. It
Hmm.
took us just 2 days to transport it to Sonprayag. From Sonprayag to Kedarnath, it took us almost a month because there were continuous rainfalls, hailstorms, and also snowfall. So it was challenging job. When we reached there, our team we are used to living in such condition, in Vadodara where we are happy with 42-degree or we have to leave. And imagine we were in -4 degree. So it was like 1.5 months that the team worked hard, and we finally have installed. And all the reels, whenever I look at an Instagram or even Facebook or even YouTube Shorts, they are the viewers are in millions. So I'm feeling very happy that all the hard work that has
Hmm.
gone in making it, ultimately it is paying off.
Yeah, so we would like to know more about the creative process of transforming scrap materials into valuable art pieces. So could you tell us more about
The creative process, okay.
yeah.
uh, See, there are various ways, like when I look at a pile of scrap, right? So I always say that muh mein pani aa gaya when we look at such, a lot of tons and tons of scrap. So we
Hmm.
select some of the scrap, and from that scrap we envision a design. That okay, from this scrap we can create something like that. That is number one process. Second process is we come up with design and then we select or choose scrap suitable to that design.
Hmm.
So both the processes, it's like when the client is also not very clear, we are also not very clear. In that case, we just think, let's go and have a look at the scrap. कुछ तो दिमाग में idea आ जाएगा. So
Hmm.
while we select scrap, we come up with idea, we provide the design to our client, and once they like it, we start the process. But the process is we have to make an armature. Armature, which is like, if you give an example, if I want to create, say, your sculpture from scrap, you are standing and I want to create your face, or you are standing or in position, I want to create that. So what I would do, I first do the modeling part from clay. Once it is
Hmm.
done, we use uh, TMT bars or some other plates, mild steel plates, to create armature. And finally, we use a material like we have created some human sculptures from bicycle chain. We have extensively used bicycle chain. We have extensively used washers to create that, because every creation or every sculpture has it's typical kind of scrap that is required. So we choose, and now we have become masters into it, choosing the scrap. And in fact, I as I told you earlier, I am a vendor of many companies have appointed me as their scrap vendor. They know that I'm not going to buy. They know that I'm not going to buy their scrap in tons and tons. I may buy in few kilos, but they are happy to give it to me because they know that I'm not going to misuse it. I'm going to enhance or I'm going to rather. Somebody very interestingly told me, a manager, do you believe in theory of reincarnation? I said no. He said, why don't you believe? You are the one who is giving new life.
Exactly.
I said this is a good way. I think I should use this to tell my clients that we are into incarnation. We give new life
Yeah.
to something which is already dead.
Hmm.
So a new form, a new meaning, a new identity.
Hmm. So your art is described as a form of social interventions. And
Yeah.
how do you aim to inspire wonder, joy, and education through your creations? How is that possible?
Okay. So this is a good question that you have asked, because the same thing I was asked at Singapore. I was invited to speak about art beyond engineering. That is,
Mm.
welding beyond engineering. Sorry, not art. It's welding beyond engineering, because the seminar or a 5 day conference was on welding. It was the International Institute of Welding. They had organized a 5 day conference on welding and joinery. From India, I was invited to speak about art welding, and they also liked, and the focus was on fulfilling SDGs. SDGs are Sustainable Development
Good
Goal,
development
which are
goals. Yes.
which are set by UNO.
Mm.
So what we do when we create something, we first go through all uh, the SDGs which are set by UNO. One such SDG is, I exactly don't remember the number. There are 17 goals. One goal is protect the wildlife and protect our natural resources, natural habitats. That is one. Another one is equal opportunity of studies, or providing equal opportunity to human beings. There is one on environmental impact. So I don't know exact as of now. I don't remember, though I used to remember them while I spoke. The idea is, how do we create something which would fulfill UN SDG and also educate people? An artist from Nigeria, his name is Ajay Toib. He's master in creating sculptures from tires. So while he came from Nigeria, he was asking me, we asked him that what would you like to create? He said, I create Indian peacock? I said no, because we have seen Indian peacock. We can create something which is very much Africa. Then he came up with an idea that how about creating a gorilla? So gorillas, there are only 100, I think 1200 gorillas are there in the entire world. They are found in Uganda, in Rwanda, and in some parts of this Congo also. So he, in fact, told us, because first thing what we do is, like artists, international artists, they also have their own thought process. Instead of hindering their thought process, better ask them that what is there in your mind. So when he
Mm.
came up with this idea, I said that's a beautiful one. How about see encouraging people about gorilla? So we actually wrote that gorillas, there are only 1200 of them are left in the world. Though you are living in Jajpur, probably you will never ever get to see gorillas in Congo, or hardly few of you. This is a small tiny town. They have not even gone beyond Bhubaneswar. There is no chance that they go out of India and see these gorillas. But since they have seen Hollywood movies, then since they have seen, like, King Kong, something like that, so probably they would feel this connection. And some of them using social media, I urge them that how about you
Mm.
use social media and tell the world that we have installed a sculpture of gorilla here. Just we want that those who are in the vicinity of gorillas, or those who can, please protect them. This is our message to you. And people did that. Some of them did really do, and some of them posted on their Facebook or something, and they sent me the link as well. That Sachin, this is what we have done. I was happy with that. So that's what we do. So I went say, when you ask me that how about inspiring, or
Mm.
intervention, or making them think, this is how we do that. Sarod, for that matter, in Gwalior city, or even we have created a vintage car in Surat city. Now vintage car in Surat city, and it is installed at I think one of the places. I don't know exact where the place, because it was commissioned by Red FM, and Red FM wanted, so we used some discarded garbage garbage containers. Do you remember we used to have garbage containers in the city? This green colored large containers.
Yeah, yeah.
After this smart city this thing came in, cities started discarding them, and then again coding came in. So color code, that if it's green and blue, so we changed. So we used those things, and ultimately we created car out of it. I'll share picture with you. Now when we created car, it was combination of Jeep, Mercedes, and Cadillac, and also
Mm.
hatchback. So this was like, how Mercedes used to think while they were creating vintage cars, how Cadillac used to think, and from that thinking process, we created this. Now people are so interested, and they are taking so many selfies. That's what somebody sent to me, that people are standing here. Okay, this Science City. Now I remember the place. So a friend of mine, he knew that I have created this. He sent me picture. People taking picture with that, and we always make a point that we write about that sculpture near that to that. So let people read that, and then if they are interested, they can inquire more and more about that particular
Mm.
artwork. Because we need to provide them something, we need to feed them something. It's not that just having
Yes.
I don't think that you look at a sculpture and then it makes you think. It has never happened. You have to make them think by providing them some information.
So how does it change, like after providing sculptures? Because I see so many artists and their artwork which are without any label, without any title, without any description, because they think, yeah, people can give meaning to it.
Yeah.
So I want to know your opinion, like how it changed, like after you provided information about the artwork.
See, I believe who is our audience. So it is also a way, even I would like to do that, that create something and then make them think about it. But then who is our audience? If it is for a public place, I always believe that a little bit of information always helps. There are reasons behind it. One is that I have seen, because after creating, if we have not written, like we have been there, so people do come, they see. While we were installing some sculptures at Gwalior, people came, they saw, but no one asked us questions. They were just looking at it. When I asked them that, what do you think? What is it? They were like, kya hai? I don't know. You tell us. And because it was the process was on, so probably they would not have understood. But when we tell them that this was the thing that this is the thing which we are creating, and then they were happy with it. So, and then I saw that people do take pictures of, even you go to any heritage place, there is a description mentioned. Nowadays we have QR codes where talks about the history of that place. So information definitely helps when it comes to public art. If it is my own creation, if it is at my own place, I may not just want to tell people. If it's an exhibition, I may not want to tell people. You think about whatever you like. You take your meaning. But when it comes to public, I believe we must feed them with some information, not entirely.
So you have received recognition from prestigious organizations as well, Sachin. Could you tell us more about your experience being honored by the World Book of Record at the House of the
Yes.
Commons, British Parliament?
Yeah. So I have now three records in my name. One is we have created tallest wall art mural largest wall art mural at Dehradun's airport, which is 83-meter by 7.9 meters in size. While we created, while we almost had completed, I had no idea that this may get featured into World Book of Records. What had happened was that I got in touch with a friend of mine. He was asking me about that what are you creating, what is it. He said, oh, isn't it a record? I said, I don't know, let me check. I checked on internet, I didn't find any such record. Then I contacted World Book of Records. That's what I found, because World Book of Record is cheaper than Guinness Book of World Record, much cheaper. And my client didn't want to spend much on the certification part. So my client said that ultimately it's a record is record. Wherever we break it, wherever we register it, we are fine with World Book of Records. And I inquired, spoke with the vice president. Then he told me that they have offices. It's a newly launched entity, but having offices in Canada, USA, even Switzerland, in London and India. I like that concept. Then he said, you register it. We registered, we got the certification on the day of inauguration. Then on the same day, a potential client, he wanted us to go to Congo and create a statue of Mother Mary, which was his. As per them, they wanted to create something in 12 meters in height. Fiberglass was the material. We said, fine, we can create. While I was studying, because I had got one certificate, I thought, let me inquire, let me check if there is such statue available. Italy has same statue of 12 meters, but that too made in bronze, I think. Then I came to my client. I went to my client. I said, sir, there is a sculpture, but if we create little higher than this, probably this will be the world record. He said, let's create 15-meter. Ultimately, we ended up creating 16.45-meter statue of Mother Mary in Congo. And that has been featured into World Book of Records as the tallest statue of Mother Mary in the entire world, using the same material. Now, because of this, they were actually felicitating some of the individuals having achieved something in their fields. So I got an email from World Book of Records that, Sachin, since you have created something remarkable and that has been featured into World Book of Records, but also your projects are something very interesting, and we invite you to join us for a function and an award ceremony which is happening at House of Commons. So World Book of Records, their patron or their mentor is an MP called Virendra Sharma. He is member of parliament from South Hall Ealing in London.
Hmm.
So he was the one who gave me this certification of excellence, and I was very happy. Now Om has featured into World Book of Records, the third one, and this has encouraged me to create more and more, or to sculptures which are
Of
larger
course.
or big. Yeah, because see, these kind of achievements, they get you talking.
Hmm.
They get people, your clients, they inquire about it. When the media do write about such things, and then when the media write, you get more work, and when I get more work, my artists, they get more work. So ultimately it's not just a help to one person, it's help to entire ecosystem.
Hmm. Let's
We-
talk about some future aspirations. Looking ahead, what are your aspirations for the future of Infine Art Venture? Do you have any specific goals or projects in mind that you are interested about?
yeah, the goal is turnover. It is financial goal. I want to reach out to 50 crores. And as you know, the law of attraction, that if you want to achieve something, you tell that this is what I want to achieve. So in next 5 years, I want to achieve turnover of 50 crores by creating such public art projects. What kind of public art projects? I want to transform cities into art galleries. So it may be with the help of public-private partnership, or by the help of government. Like currently, I'm working on creating some large artworks at Ayodhya's airport, at Surat airport, and at Dehradun's airport. I'm hoping to get more airports whenever I get chance to. Even government is coming up with transformation of railway stations. So some smaller railway stations which are now being transformed. I'm sure there will be a lot of requirement of creating artworks. So that is what I'm looking at. So we are already working with some of the architects, providing some designs and some ideas. So I'm hoping in that also we will get to get these projects. That is in public space. Also, I have created another company which is Neom Circle Technologies Private Limited. That is
Okay.
art and technology. We are coming up with fractional investment in art. You are from art field. You are an art historian, and you would know that if you want to buy a work of Jamini Roy, or Hussein or Raza or anything, it's not about, even if you have money, you don't have priority to buy, or if you have money, probably you may not get such work, or most of the times it is beyond the reach. The idea is to
Mhm.
democratize art. We want to actually, we want to create fractions of that. We are working on that. We will launch it soon, where you can buy a piece of artwork for as low as 50,000 rupees or 1 lakh rupees. That's an interesting concept. We are launching it here in India. We have already worked on. Soon, very soon we will be there. इसको launch करेंगे. Then also working on some NFTs project, though NFTs are not doing very well, but I think it will do well again in coming future. The idea is to create NFTs of our traditional and tribal artists, and to sell them
Mhm.
across India, apart from India, some other places. So I'm working on that. I don't know how much successful will I be in that, because NFTs now they are not doing well, but let's hope something should happen. Positive. So
Okay.
this company, it's morely into art and technology, focusing more into
Mhm.
that. I'm hoping to get some more. Yeah, I think I'll
Since
will do something amazing here as well.
Yeah, since you have mentioned technology, so I would like to know your opinion on AI generated art. So, what do you think of it? Like, where is it heading?
I don't think, because interestingly, we have created some of them. I have some artist friends. We did try over that, but I feel it lacks the soul. In
Hmm.
fact, I wanted to create some structural designs, and I tried to ask it to Chat GPT. Chat GPT's answer was that this is humans work, and I don't and Chat GPT literally told me that Chat GPT is unable to create this. You will need human intervention to create this. So I feel we are safe. We will not be able to. So some paintings, yes, definitely AI do create, and the paintings will get sold as well, but it will never replace artists. It will not have the soul, which is most important part when it comes to painting or art.
So, The next thing I would like to know is for individuals interested in creating art from unconventional materials, what advice would you offer based on your experience with Infine Art Adventure?
It depends what they want to do. Is it for a hobby purpose or for professional purpose? So advice would depend on the purpose of creating. If it is for hobby only, I would recommend them that whatever you like, you create. Watch some YouTube videos, and there are good teachers who are teaching them. Though we are not into that kind of teaching, but we know some good classes, some good teachers, some good artists who are very well teachers as well. They are good teachers, so we send them. If you want to do professionally, then better you take some kind of some certification course that are being offered by private colleges. Not MS University in Baroda, they don't offer, but probably they would. So understand, or even you learn from artists, take some guidance from them, and then create. I'll be there to help, because we always look for various artists who are there, and if they are good, we can take them in one of the projects. Some of the projects we can definitely work together. So I'm working with some artists who are self-taught, but they are amazing. I know that they can create something amazing. So we take, but most of the artists are from the colleges, like fine arts or even Shantiniketan, or also from many other, like JJ School of Art. So currently, artworks for Dehradun that are being created by some of the artists from Shantiniketan. For our Ayodhya, I have hired some artists from JJ School.
So it's what the Ayodhya airport you are talking about?
Ayodhya Airport,
I
yeah,
missed that. Okay.
yeah,
So
Ayodhya
how
Airport. So
many
we are
art?
creating. Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so we are creating artworks. There are four artworks being created for Ayodhya's airport, and that too, one is 90-meter by 5-meter in size. Another one is 33-meter by 8-meter in size. Another one is 5-meter by 5-meter. So like this, and the fourth one is little smaller one, which is 3 meters by 8 meters. So these are the artworks we are creating. Mostly, they are all of them are wall murals.
So when shall we expect these artworks to be seen? Any
Surat.
deadline that you have in mind?
Yeah. In a month or so, because Surat is the deadline. In fact, while we are talking, I'm getting call from the airport project manager, project head, and my person is there. He's in the process of installation. We will
Okay.
be done with Surat in next a week's time. Dehradun, and by next month, and Dehradun Ayodhya will be done.
Okay. Thank you for joining us on this insightful episode of Tuesday Talk, Sachin. It's been an
Pleasure
honor
is
to
mine.
have you, the visionary behind the Infine Art venture, with us today.
Thank
And
you. Thank
your
you.
dedication to transforming scrap materials into meaningful artworks that inspire both creativity and environmental responsibility is truly inspiring. As we wrap up, we look forward to witnessing the continued impact of your venture on art, culture, and the world at
Yes.
large. So stay
Yeah,
tuned
you will
for
see.
more
You will
engaging
see many of them.
conversation. Yes,
Yeah.
and thank you again. Thank you for taking out time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.